Okay, so we're back with CAPSIM marketing, and in here we're going to talk about briefly the 4 decisions you have to make in the marketing tab: price, promo budget, sales budget, and your sales forecast. And I'll try to go through this rather quickly because I know you're college students and you have a lot of other things to do and tests to get ready for and things like that. So here we go, real quick. Your price is going to be based on 2 things. You can choose a price based on your customer buying criteria, which is very important, and also based on what your competitors are doing with price and your strategy. Okay, is the second thing. So let's look real quick for cake. He's a traditional product. So go to reports traditional segment. And with the traditional, they're wanting that old tried and true product. And price is pretty important. They want something that's rather cheap. It's of 23% importance. It's number 2 on their buying criteria. So we want to try to stay within that range and the lower part of the range on that $20 to $30. One very important tip on price, maybe one of the most important things I'll say regarding price, is each year they will expect the price to fall by 50%. The Capstone Courier shows information from last year, round 0, or on round 1. So keep that in mind that next year the price range is going to be $19.50 to $29.50 for this particular segment. Now, let me just contrast that with, say, the high-end segment. Okay, the high-end segment has price as number 4 on their customer buying criteria. It's 9% importance. This is where price is really not an option with this customer. They have told you pretty straightforwardly that they want something that's fast, small, young, doesn't fail quickly, and they're willing to pay just about anything for it. Remember, the max price you can charge for this product this year is going to be $39.50, and it's up to you and your strategy whether you're going to charge that full price or not. Okay, and I'll leave that up to you. Promo budget. Promo is promotions. Promotions is going to increase, an increased budget in promotions is going to increase your awareness, your product awareness out in the marketplace. And this is where it's really important for you to jump into the Capstone Team Member Guide and to just read the portion on promotions, because it's going to tell you some real important stuff. From one year to the next, for example, as it reads, a third, or 33%, of those who know about a product forget about it. So what that translates into is that you're going to lose a third of your awareness every year, and you're going to have to make up for it by investing at least $1,500. Okay, and when I say 1,500, that's in 100,000, so it's going to be $1.5 million. Just keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that the more you spend past 1,500, you're going to get less than the amount of awareness that you get for that first $1,500. So here is where diminishing returns really comes into play. You can't spend too much in your promotion budget and expect to get an equal amount of return on it. Okay, and it's going to be the same thing with the sales budget. There is a point where you reach diminishing returns. Okay, moving on to sales. Sales is your accessibility in the marketplace. It's how accessible you are to the customer. We're talking, product lines and customer service reps and facilities and things like that. So the money that you put in here is going to go towards the accessibility of your product. Now, keep in mind again, and here's a little chart illustrating the fact, the budget above $3,000 is going to be a diminishing return. It's really not going to have any effect on the accessibility of your product if you spend above $3,000. So read all this down here and down here at the bottom below this chart, and keep in mind that the first $2,000 buys 22% accessibility, and anything after that is going to kind of it's going to taper off. So if you have the money, that's great, put it in, but be very, very careful and don't start to reach that point of diminishing returns, because this is good money that you can put into your plant. This is good money that you can put into other places. However, this is a great place to really shine and stand out from the competitors, is in promo and sales. Let me show you one more thing before we move on from that. If we're looking at our production analysis here, this is going to show you, let's go ahead and move back on down. If you look into any segment, market segment, it's going to show you in this column here your customer awareness, and they're all 55% there because this is round one and the computer did it for us, and then your customer accessibility. Okay, so there's all your figures, and that's where you find it. You can also see what your competitors have put in as far as promo and sales budgets. So that's a lot of great information that you have. Let's go on to your sales forecast. In my opinion, your sales forecast is the most important team decision that you can make. The R&D and really everything up until this point can be kind of delegated and done by one person and then reviewed by the team. But this, I think, on your sales budget is where you really have to come together and decide how much of the market do we think that we're going to capture next year. Now let me show you. The benchmark prediction is never go by that. It's not something that is there for you to just reiterate the numbers in. It's going to be much better if you go in and put the numbers that you think you're actually going to get, and it's going to give you a lot better data inside of your simulation. Okay, so your sales forecast, how to do it. What you want to do is we'll start again with cake, the traditional product. We'll go into our capstone courier here, and as you can see, that the total industry unit demand, that means how much is out there that customers are asking for, is 7387. So if you just want to write that down on a sheet of paper or something, that's what I'm going to do right now. Just for your information, that's 32.4% of the total industry itself. The next valuable piece of information you have here is at 9.3%. So this, by the time next year comes around, this segment is going to grow by 9.3%. So what you're going to want to do is multiply that 7387 times 1.093. Okay, and I'm just going to take a second. I'm going to do that on my calculator right here. 7387 times 1.093, and that's going to give me that 8073, and that 8073 is what the market's going to be next year. Okay, that's what's up for the taking next year. So if you took 100% of the market, you would take 8073, and that's actually 0.9, so I'm going to put 8074. I'm going to go ahead and round it up. Okay, so from this point, what you have to do is decide how much of the market do we think that we're going to take. Once you make that decision, and that's one of the most important decisions you can make as a team, then you can finish up the calculation. But how do you make that decision? How much of the market do we think we're going to take? Well, if you look down at the actual versus potential market share, since this is round one that I'm doing here, everybody's the same. Okay, so I'm Team Chester here, and we have about 16.7% of the actual market share that we took, and the potential that we could have taken is the same thing, 16.7. Usually those two bars on the bar graph don't jive. Usually you will actually take more than, usually you will take, your potential will be a little bit greater than your actual, or vice versa, okay? So what you want to do is you want to see what your potential market share was, and that's going to show you really what you could have gotten the past year, and that's a useful tool that you can kind of use to gauge what you think you might get next year. So I'm going to say, since I got 16.7, I'm just going to be real conservative and, for the purposes of demonstration, say that next year I'm going to take 17%. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to that original 74, and we're going to multiply that times 0.17. Let me just do that one more time. 8074 times 0.17 gives me 1373. And so what I'm going to put in my marketing forecast is 1373. Okay. Now, just to recap, we took the total unit demand, we multiplied that times next year's growth rate, and what we did is we did that times 1.093, and we took the result of that times whatever percent market share we think we're going to get next year. Okay, and that's how you do your sales forecast. So I hope it wasn't too rough getting through that. Thank you for your patience and your time listening, and next time we'll take a look at production and how to do things under production. Thank you very much.